Hey guys, are you new to this whole Dungeons and Dragons thing and you need help choosing a class? Well, I got 3 questions to help you find it. Coming up. Welcome to the Dungeon Coach. I'm the Dungeon Coach. I'm here to help you lower that DC in your game. One of the biggest things you need to decide on when making your Dungeons and Dragons character is what class you are. I'm here to give you a quick and easy guide to help you make sense of all 12 options that the player handbook gives you. This is just a generic look at all the classes. There's a ton of subclasses and other stuff to get into, but this is just a basic video for beginners. It can be intimidating for new players to play this game when you have all these rule books that you feel like you have to read through. But don't worry, sit back, relax, and ask yourself these 3 questions. You and your party, sitting around a warm campfire, night sky overhead, horses tied to the trees, minding your own business, just trying to rest. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, trees start rustling, goblins rush out, daggers drawn. What do? Now, I know I just asked you guys to sit back and relax, but most things about choosing your class have to do with combat. The way the questions in this video are structured are like branches. So once you make a choice, go to the description down below and pick that choice. Just so we're clear, here's my super advanced diagram for the first choice that branches into your second choice, which branches into what class you'll pick. So my first question is, when you fight these things, would you want to get up close or fight them from far away? So if you picked far right now, go down there and click far. So you chose close and you want to get up close and personal in combat. Your second question is, do you want to be a strong strength-based character or a quick dexterity-based character? So if you picked a strength-based character, you're going to be able to use weapons like swords, maces, axes, one-handed, dual-wielding, two-handed, sword and a shield, anything. There are 3 classes in this category: Barbarian, Fighter, and Paladin. A Barbarian is your big, strong character. So strong they don't even need to wear armor. The armor doesn't weigh them down, so they can move around the battlefield very effectively. They also have an ability called Rage that lets them do more damage and take less damage. And then there's your Fighter. They're going to be in a lot of these categories, but they're a jack of all trades and they're able to do a lot of different things, and they're very, very versatile. This is your classic warrior class in any game, and you're going to be able to shrug off a lot of damage and deal a lot of damage. And then there's the Paladin, which is basically like a fighter that's gone to church. They're considered a half caster, and they do have a little bit of magic they can do. They can put holy energy into their sword whenever they swing it, and they can also heal allies. Now there's a bonus strength-based character here. It's the monk. Monks can be dexterity or strength-based, very quick and mobile like the barbarian. They use their fists in hand-to-hand combat. They would be really good at throwing haymaker punches and wrestling enemies down to the ground. If you chose a dexterity-based character, I got a bonus question for you. Do you want to be sneaky? Dexterity-based characters use weapons that require accuracy and finesse to be able to use. You can still use a sword in this way, but this is also daggers, throwing weapons, staffs. So this leaves you with 3 classes: Fighter, Rogue, and Monk. If you said yes to that sneaky question, then you're a rogue. You want to sneak around places you're not supposed to be, use daggers or other weapons to get the jump on your opponent and surprise attack them for a bunch of damage? That's a rogue. Rogues are slippery and hard to pin down, so you're going to be able to move around the battlefield pretty effectively and get some tactical strikes for that sneak attack. Fighters can be both dexterity and strength-based, and this kind of fighter is going to be very similar to their strength-based counterpart, but they're going to be a little bit more quick and nimble with their attacks and still be able to shrug off damage and do a bunch. Monks can be both dexterity or strength-based, but your dexterity monks can be a little bit hard to hit, and they're still going to be the fastest character in the game as far as moving around the battlefield. So you chose far, and you want to be far away in combat and take a step back and assess the battlefield and keeping your distance from things. You have 2 options here. You can either use a bow and arrow or a crossbow, or you can cast magic. Which one? So you want to use ranged weapons to shoot enemies from far away? You got 3 options: Fighter, Rogue, and Ranger. Fighters can be up close and far away, but dexterity-based fighters that want to be at range can do a lot of damage from far away, all while being pretty durable. Rogues are also similar in that way that they can attack up close or far away, but a ranged rogue is looking for that one shot to make that killing blow from far away, and doubling down on all the sneaky and evasive perks that a rogue gets as well. Your signature class here is the Ranger. They were literally built for this, and they're also considered a half caster, and they have a little bit of magic in them as well. They're very familiar with the land around them and the creatures around them, and have spells to be able to boost their attacks. So you want to cast magic and be what's called a full caster? This is for you. Half the classes in the game are considered martial classes or half casters, and that's the other 6 classes that I've already talked about in the other sections of this video. You have 6 different options now, but these all branch off from where do you get your magic from? Do you get your magic from nature itself? Or were you born with it already in you, or something happened to you to get them? Did you learn this yourself, or somebody taught it to you? Did you make a pact with a higher power, whether it be a good or evil person. And finally, an artistic expression. Now for your final choice, I know that's a lot of options I just threw at you guys, so here's another fancy diagram to help you see the 6 different choices. Now, let's see what these classes can really do. The first one is a druid. You get your power from nature itself, and you're able to talk to animals and even shapeshift yourself into animals. You're also able to manipulate the weather and plants. Second, you have a sorcerer. Sorcerers were born with magic in them already, whether it's from their bloodline or something happened to them and they absorbed this magic and now that it's a part of them. Sorcerers can bend and shape the magic they use to customize it how they want. The third magic class is a wizard. You were born with no magic at all, but someone taught you or you learned on your own how to cast these spells. You cast them out of a book or some other object. Wizards also get to choose a particular school of magic and they can enhance those spells. The fourth and fifth option both get their power in the same way, but opposite. A cleric and a warlock. A cleric gets their power from a divine being of some kind that they pledge their allegiance to, and that's where they draw their divine power from. Clerics will always be super useful for all that healing they can do, but it's more than just that. They are also one of the most versatile and durable casters in the game. A warlock, on the other hand, makes a pact, but it's usually with a much more dark and fiendish figure that they draw their power from. Warlock spells work entirely different than any other caster, and their patron grants them permanent buffs as they level up. The last class is a bard, and bards cast their magic in a little different way through song, music, or dance. Now this might seem weird, and a bard is probably the most difficult class to pull off with it feeling right. Most bards have musical instruments they cast their spells through, but that doesn't always have to be the case. But here are some cool ideas for a bard that don't require a musical instrument. You can do a bard that sings to cast their spells, but trust me, you don't want me to demonstrate that. And if you can't sing, then maybe you want to play a bard more like a siren or a banshee that wails their songs and echoes into the minds of their enemy. I've also ran a darker flavored bard that had some guttural chants that you couldn't even understand. My favorite type of bard is actually the dancing kind of bard. I think it'd be really cool to see a gypsy bard with the little hand chime things, or a ribbon dancer that casts spells with their ribbon, an interpretive dance bard that casts their spells through exaggerated movements, or a Samoan battle bard. I think this would be so cool. You know that aggressive dance they do? It'd be a bard that casts spells through. But no matter which one of those you choose, bards will always be able to boost and inspire their allies, letting them be able to add more to all of their roles. And for some quick bonus content, every single class has multiple subclasses that let you customize your character even further. There's a Circle of the Moon Druid that doubles down on the shapeshifting and lets you shapeshift into much more dangerous creatures and get up and close and personal as well. Fighters and rogues both have subclasses that let them dabble in a little bit of magic as well. And at the end of the day, if you can't make a decision between two classes, there's something called multi-classing, which that's a whole video. But you can actually combine classes together and make something entirely new. I have a DC method for multi-classing that's a little different, and it stops you from having to homebrew an entire class from scratch, and it lets you mix and match classes together in a way that feels pretty cool. But that's going to be a whole video for another time. So there's all 12 classes. I hope this quick run through gave you a better idea of what kind of character you'd want to make. And if it did, or if you liked my Samoan dancing, hit that like button. And if you're now confused more than ever and none of this makes sense, hit the dislike button. And if you still have questions, ask me in the comments down below and I'll answer any questions you have about any class. I also have a website you can check out if you want to learn more about me or this channel, thedungeoncoach.com. And as always guys, I post videos every week, Saturday at 9 a.m. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I also made a new series called D&D for Newbies. I made this for 2 reasons. One is to share the concept of this game to people who have no idea. And 2 is for all of us out there that do play Dungeons & Dragons to have a quick and easy video that you can show your friends and family so they understand this awesome hobby of ours. Because this game really is for everybody and it just gets a bad rap sometimes. And man, we have been growing so fast. So keep sharing these videos so we can grow this dungeon crew even larger. So click right here for the D&D for Newbies series and click right here to see more videos from my channel. And until then, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.